On September 15th, 2019, I was there.
A third video about a game I was at between the Giants and Marlins. I guess I could call this series a trilogy against a terrible team. Much had changed in the 7 years since I saw these two teams play each other in person. Went to Disneyland in 2018. I underwent surgery to drop a lot of weight in 2017. My family and I moved to a different house in 2016. My stepfather passed away in 2015. We took a trip to Texas in 2014. Oh, and my daughter was born in 2012. Then there were the 2 additional World Series championships the Giants won over that time. The direction the Giants were going had changed since that 3rd championship in 2014. They would be in the middle of rebuilding and would soon be going through a big change after the 2019 season. As mentioned, they won 2 championships since that game I went to in 2012. In 2016, the even year magic ran out as they lost in the NLDS to the Chicago Cubs in 4 games. In 2017, they went from NL wildcard winner to the worst team in baseball. In 2018, they improved, but it wasn't anything to write home about. The Giants just didn't wind up in the basement that year. In 2019, the Giants kept moving up, but the Dodgers were so dominant that nobody in the NL West would catch them. The Giants still had some of the pieces that won them championships in the 2010s. Brandon Belt, Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, Madison Bumgarner, etc., etc., and etc. But they would have some new blood on the roster. One of those new faces was a rookie by the name of Mike Yastrzemski, the grandson of American League Triple Crown winner of 1967 and Hall of Fame inductee in 1989, Carl Yastrzemski. While my life and the Giants have changed over the past 7 years, the Marlins hadn't changed all that much. Well, with the exception of a change of ownership, this team was still terrible since the last time I saw them in 2012. Sure, they finished second in the NL East in 2017, but they were so far behind the Washington Nationals that it didn't matter. Ownership changed from Jeffrey Loria, the nitwit who destroyed the Montreal Expos, to Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter. Well, 4% of the team would be owned by Jeets. After the 2017 season, the Marlins went on another fire sale, similar to the one they had in 1997. Some great names with a lot of potential were sold off. Justin Bour, gone. 2015 All-Star D. Gordon, gone. 2018 All-Star J.P. Realmuto, he gone. Marcell Ozuna, meet you in St. Louis before you go to the chop shop. Christian Yelich, get up, get out of here. Finally, Giancarlo Stanton, whom I saw in 2012, bye. The fire sale would set the team back to being a bottom feeder with no names I know of besides their manager Don Mattingly. The Marlins in 2019 were the worst team in the National League. If it weren't for the Baltimore Orioles giving up dingers on a daily basis and the Detroit Tigers playing ball like it was 2003, the Marlins would have been the worst team in baseball. This game I went to had many historical quirks in it. 20 years earlier to the day, I would take one last trip to Candlestick Park on my 22nd birthday to see the Giants host the Marlins. In this game, against the Marlins, 20 years later, on my 42nd birthday, I would be seeing for the last time a managerial legend in the history of the Giants, Bruce Bochy. For the entire 2019 season, Bochy would be going on a farewell tour. No matter who took his place, Bochy would go down as the best manager of the San Francisco Giants era. I think 3 championships, let alone 3 in a decade, should solidify that. Going into this game, Bochy was on the verge of a milestone. He was sitting on 1,997 career wins. Also, this would be my daughter's first Giants game, not her first baseball game. That was in 2014 at Minute Maid Park in Houston. When my wife and I saw the Giants play the Marlins in 2012, we just found out she was pregnant with her. As I said, many historical quirks on my 42nd birthday. Not only was it my birthday, it was also Star Wars Day at the ballpark, meaning many Giants fans cosplayed as their favorite Star Wars character. On top of that, it was a day where my hometown got a little extra attention. A month or so before this game, a horrible shooting happened at the annual Gilroy Garlic Festival. On Strikeout Violence Day at Oracle Park, the Gilroy High School Chamber Ensemble got the honor of singing in the national anthem. Starting pitcher for the Marlins, Eliezer Hernandez. Hernandez was a rookie in the 2019 season, so there isn't much for me to work with here. Hernandez spent the 2018 season on the shelf and did rehab assignments in the minor leagues. He finished the 2019 season with an ERA over 5. Starting on the mound for the Giants, Johnny Cueto. Before joining the Giants in 2016, Cueto was a rental after the Reds traded him to the Royals days before the trading deadline in 2015. In the Royals' World Series run in 15, Cueto went 2-1 and was the winning pitcher in Game 2 of the World Series. Cueto had a pretty good first season with the Giants, going 18-5 in 2016 and was named to the All-Star team. Then beginning in the 2017 season, Cueto's career took a nosedive. A mediocre season and blisters on his hand were the highlights of that season. In the 2018 season, Cueto had a good first month, then suffered an elbow strain. Later in the season, he would undergo Tommy John surgery. He would return to action in September 2019 against the Pirates 5 days before this game. It wouldn't be the first time I saw Cueto in person. I would see him pitch against the Mets in 2017, in which I would complete a weird sports bucket list item, seeing all 30 Major League Baseball teams in person since 1987. In the top of the first, Miguel Rojas would lead off with a single to left. Cueto got the next two batters to fly out. Even though Rojas stole second and moved over to third after a wild pitch, Cueto got Neil Walker to fly out to keep Rojas stranded. A quiet bottom half of the first for the Giants. Nothing much happened in the second inning. Despite giving up a leadoff single to John Berti, Cueto would retire the next three batters and Berti would stay stranded. In the bottom of the third, I got an unexpected surprise as newcomer Mauricio Dubon would get the Giants on the board first as he tried to hit the ambulance behind the left field wall.
3 hits in the game yesterday as he shoots this one down the left field line. Hit well into the corner.
Both the Giants and Marlins had rallies in the fourth inning, and both of them ended in the same fashion, two batters striking out. All quiet in the fifth. In the sixth inning, the only thing happening were pitching changes. For the Giants, Fernando Abad came in for Cueto, and then Birch Smith would replace Abad one batter later. Miami would have Hernandez out and Adam Conley in. In the top of the seventh, Smith was having a good inning, getting Jorge Alfaro to ground out and Lewis Brinson to strike out. Next up would be Magneuris Sierra. He would try to bunt his way on base, and it would go sideways for the Giants' defense.
Bunts this one to Longoria. Longoria will throw this one down the right field line. And now you can see how Sierra can run, and he's going to make it to third.
In two pitches, Berti would make Longoria pay for the error by tying the game with this single.
He's hit. Game tied.
Wandy Peralta would replace Smith on the mound, and the Giants would get out of the inning after Martin Prado flied out to left. Hector Noesi would pitch for Miami in the bottom of the seventh and retire the Giants in order. The same went with Tyler Rogers replacing Peralta for the Giants. In the top of the eighth, Rogers set the Marlins down in order. In the bottom of the eighth, the Giants would get the job done in the strangest fashion. Harlan Garcia would be the next pitcher for Miami. After Donovan Solano flied out to lead off the inning, Mike Yastrzemski and Brandon Belt got back-to-back singles. Mattingly would not wait long and give Garcia the hook. Up on the mound to face Evan Longoria would be Ryan Stanek. After a wild pitch that moved Yaz and Belt over, Longoria would walk. Stanek would get Stephen Vogt to strike out for the second out. With the bases loaded, Crawford would try to break the game open. That's when Stanek would uncork another wild pitch, and this time it would cost him.
In the dirt, here comes Yastrzemski to throw home, down in time, and the Giants take the lead.
Stanek wasn't out of the woods, as he would intentionally walk Crawford to load the bases again. This time Stanek got out of the jam as Mike Gerber would strike out to leave the bases loaded. Top of the ninth, and the Giants' 2019 All-Star closer Will Smith would come on to finish the job. After Harold Ramirez grounded out, Alfaro walked. Lewis Brinson would strike out swinging, but not before Smith got wild, and it would move Alfaro to second. Trying to keep the rally going for the Marlins would be Austin Dean. It wouldn't last long.
And he shoots this one out of the ground to Dubon, and that's the ball game.
This would be win number 1,998 for Bruce Bochy. 3 days later at Fenway Park, the Giants would hammer the Red Sox 11-3, and it would earn Boch his 2,000th win of his career. The Giants would finish the season, and Bochy would ride off into the sunset. Who would fill these big shoes Bochy wore over a 12-year period? Former Phillies manager and a member of the 2004 World Champion Red Sox team, Gabe Kapler. How has Kapler done as the Giants manager so far? I don't know. As of this video, the 2020 season hadn't started because of something.
I would pay my respects to the greatest manager in San Francisco Giants history on my birthday, when I was there on September 15th, 2019.